Ladies and gentlemen, let me first start this program off by saying thank you, and thank you to all of the people that would have shown their support for the Slam finals. Man, did we have a really great time. And, you know, I'm not going to be showing any of that footage in this episode. You know, I'll pull back some of the stuff from the semifinals because I need to show the semifinals, man. We had some really, really good poetry coming out from the semifinals. So that's about it. You know, no other announcements or anything. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 30 of Verses and Flow.
It's summer, but yet the world's cold. If you're pregnant at 15 years old, she was sweet, quiet as a mouse. But when her parents found out, she was kicked out of the house. Now her boyfriend's upset, he's furious, he's mad. Now he skips town because he's going to be a dad. So he says the baby isn't his. So she turns to the church seeking what to do, but the pastor says, honey, we don't help sinners like you. She has so many questions, but not enough answers. Bad news keeps coming. Her grandma dies because of cancer. Feeling abandoned, no one to show her love, she turns to a life that's filled with drugs. Cocaine, PCP, heroin, yeah, she developed a habit. I think it's an understatement to even call her an addict. She loved getting high, it would put her in a daze. She started sharing needles, so now she's got AIDS. This girl would get high to laugh away her pain, it would seem, but I don't see the humor in dying at 15. The doctors did their best, they did all they could do, but there was no hope, and the baby died too. Now, this isn't a story about Mary Ann or Susie Q. It's about a dark-skinned, brown-eyed, coarse-haired 15-year-old princess with red blood just like me, or you, or you. This isn't a poem to make you mad, but to make you think. This is poetic juice for your mind to drink. If you see this girl drowning, help her. Help her. Please help her before she sings.
This poem is entitled, If I Was a Fantasy Poet. If I was a fantasy poet, I would write upon your lips, red succulence ready to be sucked, ignoring the stale smell of cigarettes on your breath and the vile tongue which spewed forth nasty words. If I was a fantasy poet, I would write upon your silken ebony hair, which sat beautifully on your flawless skin, never paying homage to the shrewd wires they remind me of. If I was a fantasy poet, I would write upon your melodious voice, which sang even to the birds in the trees and not to the toads in the marsh. If I was a fantasy poet, I'd write upon the perfected symmetry of your body and how even the gods envied, ignoring the huge mounds of flesh which sagged against each other, held in that atrocious prison called your body. If I was a fantasy poet, I would write upon the swan-like way in which you walked, ignoring the slight limp caused by a foot too small to support such massive weight. If I was a fantasy poet, I would edit the love I have for you, discarding the things which make you you. But search far and come near, we are the two halves of a whole. And even if I was a fantasy poet, the term false love would never be known. Thank you.
I want you to tell me something that I don't know. Tell me something that I don't know. Tell me how many years must we continue so as a country, as a nation, how low must we go? Tell me something that I don't know. Rather, ask me a question that I don't know the answer to. Ask me a question like why? Why should we have to climb on roofs to demand our own salary? Ask me a question. Ask me a question like, how come every time we ask or raise a play, they quick to say no way, but the Linden Inquiry Commissioner got over $40,000 a day? Ask me how come we fight to get in a bus at rush hour, when doing something about it is within their power? I guess them in their tinted AC cars don't have to worry about getting to work late or how to pay their rent or even what to put on their plate. You see, we've latched on to this idea of capitalism with its dog-eat-dog mentality. But we should be ashamed of a society where less for you automatically means more for me. Our situation reminds me of a nursery rhyme. Oh, said the people, that's not fair. Oh, said the government, we don't care. Tell me how come every other store in town bears a Chinese logo? We support their businesses, you know, decked out in cheap Chinese apparel from head to toe. But somehow, we not good enough to work on their buildings though. Tell me something that I don't know. Tell me something that I don't know. Tell me how come they can fight so hard for the Chris Brown show and then turn around and ban our own local calypso. Tell me. You see, tell me how come every other day a new artist coming our way, but Dave Martin or Eddie Grant hardly ever play. You see, we're dealing with a problem that's inherently malignant, but as a people, we just put up a front. I'm talking about the question concerning the texture of my hair and the color of my skin. And I'm going to ask this, even though some of you might get cold as ice, but how come in this day and age in your shop, the people that look like you get a better price? You see, none of these questions are new. They've been asked before. But the thing is, the answer to this question lies in another question. And the question that I don't know the answer to, you see, is when are we going to stop fighting each other and confront the real enemy? Thank you.
Food for thought, people. Food for thought. When will we get together? You know, we need to get together. Anyway, don't you move. And I know that I have some very obedient fans, so don't move. We'll be right back after these short messages.